could you tell me that what are some of the things you could tell our students, our audience, and for us that we can be aware of, so that we ourselves, the average people, the average Germans became martyrs during
Hmm.
the Second World War.
Yeah,
General people,
yeah.
what can we do so that we don't engage in demonization
Well,
practices?
I think the first thing is to acknowledge that we're capable of it. We're all capable of it, and it
Mhm,
comes very easily to us, particularly when we're feeling vulnerable. And that's why the most dangerous figures of influence concentrate on making people feel vulnerable. That's essential to this sort of dehumanizing propaganda. Um, so if you look at any of these cases, it's uh, well, let's take Myanmar,
mhm, mhm,
um,
mhm,
right? So the radical Buddhists are saying the Rohingya. Well, it applies more generally to Muslims in Myanmar, but especially the Rohingya. Um, they're 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 raping. They're raping us. They're murderers. They're flooding our country, um, and so on and so forth. So when you frighten people in this sort of way, and that's a scary image, isn't it? People, it's like Donald Trump with people from Mexico. They're flooding into our country. They're rapists. They're murderers. It's the same damn story. Well, if you take that seriously, if you look up to the people who promote this, you get frightened. Then when they offer you the solution, oh, we'll deal with them, right? They're subhumans. We can treat them in any way we like. It's very easy to accept that when you're frightened, right? So this is something I take from Freud generally, that look, it's part of the human condition to understand that we're all vulnerable, uh, vulnerable to the injustices that people perpetrate on one another, and vulnerable to the forces of nature, flood and famine, and merely the fact that we're all going to die. So people who want us to do terrible things often enhance that feeling of vulnerability and then offer us salvation, offer us a magical solution to our vulnerability. And there isn't any, right? Um, but as human beings, we all yearn for salvation. That's why the monotheisms have been so successful and so powerful. As Freud said, they express the deepest, most powerful, most urgent wishes of mankind. So we need to be alert to these sorts of manipulations, right? Acknowledge that we're capable of slipping into these ways of thinking. Be alert to these forms of manipulation and push back. As soon as you find yourself being sucked in, push back. It doesn't mean you're a bad person if you find yourself being sucked in. It's you're just a human being. Um, Second, don't demonize the people who do terrible things. They're human beings too. Treat them as holding up a mirror to you of what you're capable of. Third, politically speaking, our priority should be making people as secure as possible. They can put food on the table. They have work. They have health care. They have protection. Because the more vulnerable a group of people is, the more easy prey they are to those who wish to exploit us. And finally, get rid of this horrible idea of race. Race is, I think, a candidate for the worst, the most dangerous, the most toxic idea that the human mind has ever fashioned. It's scientifically empty. It's socially destructive. Don't indulge in it. You'll lose a lot of friends, believe me. But people say, I refuse to describe myself as white. Um, and people say, oh, you're concealing your white privilege. And no, I know people have fantasies about me as belonging to a race.
Mhm,
And they offer me privileges because of that, but it's sheer fantasy.
mhm, mhm,
Um, let's not honor it with
mhm,
endorsement.
mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. What we will do, and David, I'll send you the links, the videos, that
Great.
this conversation of 2.5 hours, we will split into small, the question that I have asked you,
Hmm.
and see that how our respondents, our students, and how, what they understand. Maybe their English will not be as impeccable as yours, but
Sure.
you'll understand their version of English,
It's
hopefully.
better than my Bangla, I can assure you.
Exactly. Thank you for recognizing that. Thank you very much. I say that to my students here at, when I teach here. I tell my university students that remember my name and
Yeah,
understand that, when I speak English, if there is a grammatical mistake here and there, I don't really feel inferior. I don't.
good.
I
Yes.
mean, I have invested enough time to learn your language and
Mm.
actually teaching you in that language. So
So here's
probably,
the funny thing. Of course,
yeah.
I commit lots of grammatical errors, but it's not regarded as significant,
Yeah. Oh
right?
my
Because of the
God,
way I'm racialized.
David, that would be, I mean, if I could take that statement and probably give it to 98%, white professors,
Yeah,
when, in terms of their, because I have seen one of the most common line of defense mechanism that works with the white professors. Oh, they don't write well.
yeah, yeah,
What do you mean? You're
yeah.
English, and I've been told a lot of the times when I tried it, because you don't have any option being a
Hmm.
doctoral student, right? Is that when I write my position, a lot of the times I have been told that my opinions are too strong.
Yeah,
And I say that, well, my epistemology is also connected to my ontology. So,
yeah,
if you think that your superior position is not able to deal with my subjective understanding of my reality, too bad.
yeah. Right. And seeing through a different lens as well. I mean, very good.
Yeah,
All of this is stuff that
yeah,
my
yeah.
spouse, who's Jamaican, has to
Hmm,
deal
hmm,
with. And
hmm,
whereas students will see me as a passionate teacher,
hmm.
they'll describe her as intimidating, right?
Oh, yes. And angry.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Angry black woman.
and, with publications, they want her to reform her language, and the
Yeah.
whole works.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your wife will understand my dilemma a little bit
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
Thank you so much, David. I
Thank you
look
so
forward
much.
to have future conversations with you. As
Anytime.
yeah,
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 it's a delight.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. And I'll be sure to send you the students how they understood it and what's there. Probably you'll be able to learn a lot from their understanding of your interpretation of things they say.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Thank you,
Bye bye
David.
now.
Have a
Have a
wonderful day.
wonderful day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.